A police-involved shooting near a mental health facility in Danbury. We've got the latest from the scene. Missing now almost 6 weeks, another surprise in the case of Jennifer Dulos, her estranged husband, going on TV for an interview. Hear what he has to say. Another presidential endorsement from a Connecticut politician. Does it align with Governor Lamont? Good evening, I'm Nick Medanis. This is News 12 Connecticut. Police tonight shoot a man they say was carrying large knives in a field in Danbury. News 12 Connecticut's Suzanne Goldklang joins us from that city's police department now with the story. Suzanne.
Good evening, Nick. Officials here in Danbury say this all started with the report of a knife attack at a mental health facility on Old Ridgebury Road, and that somehow the suspect, who was carrying 2 large blades, managed to get over a fence and into a field that's part of the Old Union Carbide facility. Police say that's where they came face to face with him, and when he refused to drop the weapons, they shot him, adding that he was conscious and speaking before being taken to the hospital.
Initial report was that he was assaulting several people inside the building. We're conducting a separate investigation of that incident as well at this time.
Now, it is a busy night in Danbury. There are fireworks planned. There was even a wedding scheduled for the area near where the shooting happened. So police wanted to get roads back open as soon as the investigation, which continues, allowed. In Danbury, Suzanne Goldklang, News 12 Connecticut.
Suzanne, thank you. Many people kicking off the holiday weekend as we take a look tonight at our community camera in Bridgeport. What can we expect here from the weather? Meteorologist Steve Teeling is joining us with the latest. Steve?
Hey, Nick. Yeah, thank you so very much. It looks great for any fireworks displays that are going to be going on in some of the local towns and communities that we have across Western Connecticut tonight, and pretty much the same deal for tomorrow night. So we've been blessed with some great weather. Let's take advantage of it. Let's get you up to date on where those temperatures are right now, and you're going to see a wide range of temps. For example, the northern part of Stamford, you're at 90. 79 right on the shoreline. Why? Well, we've got a little bit of an east to southeast wind coming in, and that's cooling things off in some shoreline areas. Same thing for the northern part of Stratford, 90, but then Fairfield is 79. So it just all depends on where you're located. Most of us are very much on the warm side, in the 80s, if not 90s. 84 right now in Shelton, Milford at 85. We have 88 coming in from Watertown. Look at this, a couple of 90s showing up in the Middlebury area on into the New Milford area, 89 in Naugatuck. And up towards beautiful Lake Winchester, we are looking at 82 degrees. All right, there are those winds I was telling you about, kind of an east-southeast wind coming in, Bridgeport, Orange, on into Greenwich. That's what's cooling things off just a tiny bit along the shoreline, but you just head inland a couple of miles, and that's where you really get into the steamy type of weather. All right, satellite and radar, any clouds that are around pretty much have cleared out, even coastal areas, and any showers and storms that developed today have stayed pretty much in Pennsylvania and on into New Jersey. They are not going to come our way tonight. That's why we're anticipating a great night for the fireworks displays out there. A couple of clouds, otherwise warm and muggy, 70. What's even more important for the fireworks, not much in the way of wind, only about 5 miles an hour. And then for the day tomorrow, we're looking at a glorious 4th of July, mainly sunny, hot and humid, 86, heat index closer to 90. All right, please stay with us. We're going to give you more on the forecast with your 7-day and your weekend forecast all ahead in just a couple of minutes. Nick, back to you.
Steve, thank you. Now to that story that's made international headlines, the search for missing New Canaan mom Jennifer Dulos, who disappeared nearly 6 weeks ago. Her estranged husband gave his first media interview last night. News 12 Connecticut's Marissa Alter joins us with what he had to say and reaction from a legal expert. Marissa.
Nick, Fotis Dulos would not talk about specifics of the case against him or what he thinks happened to his estranged wife. Still, it is very unusual for a defendant charged in a criminal case to go on camera. One local defense attorney told me he'd never allow it, especially given the circumstances in this case.
You know, I know what I've done and I know what I haven't done.
Fotis Dulos maintaining his innocence in a sit-down interview with WNBC. His estranged wife, Jennifer Dulos, was last seen May 24th, and police say evidence points to a serious physical assault inside her home. Dulos was silent until last week when he made this brief statement directed at their 5 kids.
I just want to tell my children that they're constantly on my mind, and that I love them and I miss them very much.
But last night, Dulos took questions from WNBC, adding he knows many people think he's guilty of murder.
I had my differences with Jennifer, like many people do when they go through a marriage. It didn't work out for us, but that doesn't mean that I wish her ill in any way.
The couple has been going through an ugly divorce and custody battle for the past 2 years.
Any judge can hear the case.
New Canaan attorney Matthew Maddox is watching the case closely, including Dulos' recent TV appearance.
I don't know what the methodology here is, but if he were my client, he would be absolutely silent.
Dulos and his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, are both charged with evidence tampering and hindering prosecution. Police say the couple was caught by security cameras throwing out items that tested positive for Jennifer's blood.
There is nothing that he gains by going on camera. Of course, he's not going to speak about the facts of the case, but his body language, his tone, those nonverbal cues.
And everyone who watches is a member of a potential jury pool. Maddox says that makes him cringe.
I think that he was too calm, too collected, too calculated in what he wanted to say. The appearance for me and the tone for me was one of almost detachment.
In a statement to News 12 Connecticut, Dulos said he understands the public's perception of him as a monster, but he trusts the system and the process, and he asked the public to do the same. Last month, law enforcement said additional charges are expected in this case against him. In the newsroom, Marissa Alter, News 12 Connecticut.
Marissa, thank you. Connecticut's Attorney General is taking on the federal government over transgender rights. The Equal Access Rule is so transgender and non-conforming people can still find a place in homeless shelters. The Trump administration is planning to repeal it. William Tong joining other states urging the White House to reconsider that. Tong says all people deserve safe housing, free from violence, harassment, and discrimination, period. This cruel proposal is nothing more than a government-sanctioned green light to discriminate against transgender individuals. A New York City man is sentenced to more than 11 years in prison for his role in a kidnapping and extortion scheme targeting immigrants. 51-year-old Pascual Rodriguez, himself an immigrant from the Dominican. After federal court in Bridgeport today, he faces deportation. Rodriguez would pose often as an immigration officer and harass people at Port Authority. Increasing controversy over conditions in migrant facilities along the border with Mexico. A Border Patrol agent says he's had enough. In an exclusive CNN interview, the veteran agent expressing disgust at that closed Facebook group reportedly made up of thousands of agents, CNN protecting this agent's identity. He says being disrespectful is part of Border Patrol culture, even hearing a supervisor joke about dead migrants.
The holding facility, the cells, they are, what I will say, filthy. We have a maintenance and cleaning crew that cleaned the general area, like the hallways, but I have never seen them cleaning counters or cleaning toilets in the cells or cleaning sinks in the cell. Sometimes you go in a cell and there's trash everywhere.
The acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Kevin McCleenan, says the reports highlight disturbing and inexcusable social media activity. He says the statements made by that Facebook group are completely unacceptable and do not uphold to the department's mission, values, and standards of conduct. He says he's launched an investigation. Senator Richard Blumenthal says all Americans should weep at this stomach-churning, heartbreaking Inspector General report documenting indecency and inhumanity, but more demand accountability, punish all responsible, and lift up families and children. Monroe officials with some reminders this evening after several black bears are seen in town. They say put all food scraps in the trash, clean grills when done using them, keep pet food inside at night, and pets should be on leashes. A commuter alert on the New Haven line. Special schedules in effect until Tuesday as work continues on the Atlantic Street Bridge. People will continue to see fewer trains east of Stamford. Metro North says trains will be more crowded. Regular service is set to resume Wednesday. Another Connecticut politician weighs in on the race for the White House. Does that endorsement align with the governor's? You're watching News 12 Connecticut. We'll be right back. To the race for the White House, where two Connecticut politicians are now weighing in. Today, Congresswoman Jahana Hayes endorsed Kamala Harris. News 12 Connecticut's John Craven is here. John, this comes just after Governor Lamont got involved too.
Yeah, Nick, you know, Governor Lamont is backing Harris's opponent, Joe Biden. These dueling endorsements show just how early this 2020 race is ramping up.
They've only been in office 7 months, but Governor Ned Lamont and Congresswoman Jahana Hayes are both weighing in on the race for the White House. Today, Senator Kamala Harris got Hayes' endorsement. In Essence magazine, Hayes wrote, "Kamala has presented a policy agenda focused on increasing access for all Americans, lifting families up to ensure no child has to be told that something is not possible."
I think he's a good man.
Meantime, Governor Lamont is endorsing Harris's opponent, former Vice President Joe Biden, in spite of their previous differences on the 2003 Iraq War.
Plus, former Vice President Joe Biden here in Connecticut campaigning for gubernatorial candidate Ned Lamont.
Biden gave Lamont a last-minute push before his election.
He's got a 40-year, record. I think people know where he stands on war and peace. I think they know where he stands on civil rights.
A new Quinnipiac poll shows Harris closing in on Biden, even gaining over a CNN poll the day before.
I see all these polls they get given to me. They don't mean a thing right now.
Meantime, Connecticut's two senators are taking a wait-and-see approach.
I have a bunch of my friends in the Senate that are running, which is a big part of the reason why I'm staying out of it.
I think it's very early to be picking someone because I want to hear what they have to say in the next debate. I want to know better what my colleagues in the Senate who are running have to say.
All right, so just how much do these endorsements move the numbers anyway? Well, the results are mixed. Polls show President Trump is very popular with Republicans, but several primary candidates that he's backed have lost. In the newsroom, John Craven, News 12, Connecticut.
Let's get a check of the forecast now as we take a look outside at our community camera in Westport. Yep, looks about right for a little vacation. Meteorologist Steve Teeling is here now with the latest. Steve?
Yeah, that's where you'd like to be, Nick. That's for sure. On a day like today with the heat and humidity, low tide, it looks just so pretty in Westport, and it's pretty much pretty all across our shoreline of Connecticut. So if you're heading down to the beaches tomorrow for the 4th or anytime this weekend, have fun and be safe. Let's check out our fireworks forecast for tonight. We're going to stop it right here at 9 p.m. and this is what you can expect across the region. Maybe a couple of clouds here or there, but it will be dry. Winds will be generally calm. It looks like great weather conditions for shooting off those fireworks and sitting back and enjoying them. As we progress through the night, we're going to pretty much clear out totally so that by morning we are looking at generally fair skies. It'll be warm and muggy as we head towards dawn. Now, if you're sleeping in a little bit on the holiday tomorrow, we'll stop it here at 9 a.m. Once you get out of bed, you're going to wake up to a nice, bright, sunny start to the day. During the afternoon hours, we're going to see a few of those puffy clouds start to form, but it looks like it stays dry across our area for the 4th, but it will be very warm, if not hot, and it will be on the humid side, and that's what we can expect all day long. Heading on into the evening hours, preparing for whatever fireworks displays are going off tomorrow night in the local communities. Well, here we go, between 9 and 9:30, when most of them usually start. It looks like it's going to be generally fair, a couple of clouds drifting on by, and another calm night. So yeah, things are looking fantastic for the fireworks. On Friday, hazy, hot, and humid, 85 the high, heat indices closer to 90. Late in the day towards evening, a couple of thunderstorms possible, but I think Saturday's the day where we have a good chance of some thunderstorms, some of which could be strong. We'll keep an eye on that, and then slowly turning cooler and less humid Sunday into Monday once that system passes on by. All right, stay with us. We will have more on the forecast coming up in just a couple minutes. Nick, back to you.
All right, Steve, record highs on Wall Street, a holiday-shortened trading day. The Dow easily beat its record from October closing up 179 points. The S&P closing at its third straight record high, up 22. NASDAQ also a record, rising 61 points. Walmart will stop selling guns in New Mexico. That state just passed 2 new laws. One of them requires any person buying a gun to go through a background check. Walmart says it's not equipped to do that. More fallout from Boeing after those 2 deadly crashes of its 737 MAX jets, 346 people killed. The company says it's paying $100 million to nonprofits. The money said to be going to support education for victims' children and living expenses for families. Boeing is facing several lawsuits. It says families that take this money can still pursue legal action. All right, we're closer to the 4th, and that means outdoor fun for many. So as you head out the door for that picnic, please remember to be responsible. That means no drinking and driving. Senator Richard Blumenthal warning people the summer season means an increase in emergency room visits. And even if you are being responsible, it's always good to be cautious on the road.
There are all kinds of ways to avoid drinking and driving, as well as other kinds of distracted driving. During summer, people ought to be particularly careful and cautious because there is so much going on.
And he's reminding us tonight of other summer issues, perhaps, like to be careful grilling and using fireworks. This week's News 12 Connecticut Merit Insurance Hometown Hero is a Bridgeport woman who teaches people of all ages about animals. Catherine Sabia is a volunteer at the Beardsley Zoo. She's trained to be an animal handler and speaks at educational programs about the different species that live at the zoo. She says she loves animals and loves to teach.
It's the people. I love interacting with our guests. I learned so much from them, and I'm hoping that I can impart some kind of what I've learned here to them, and especially to the kids, because they're our future.
She's working as a nurse 46 years, and she uses that training in her spare time to help care for homeless people in Bridgeport and volunteer at blood pressure and flu clinics. A Stamford hairdresser in need of a kidney shocked today when her scheduled appointment turned out to be a donor. Marine veteran John Rubino saw a post on Facebook. It said Jessica Rabasco was desperate for help. The 29-year-old's kidneys barely working. Look at this. She's on dialysis 3 times a week waiting for a transplant. Rubino going through testing for 5 months, and yes, he's a match. Rabasco and Rubino meeting today for the first time.
That's including an EKG, CAT scan, all the things. You meet the staff, you meet with the surgeons, and if everything goes well, then that is then presented to a medical panel for review.
I just want to go back to doing what I was doing before. I want to work out. It's like the first thing I want to do. I want to travel. It definitely put like a hold on that stuff.
Her childhood dance teacher, seen here, shared the post on Facebook, and that's how John saw it. We'll be right back. A local coach is on the move. News 12 Connecticut's Justin DeVellis joins us now with that story. Justin.
Yeah, Nick, that's right. He's on the move, but not to anywhere unfamiliar. Tom Cunningham announced yesterday he's stepping down as the Fairfield Ward girls soccer coach to become the head girls coach at Seymour. It's where he lives. During his 14-year tenure with Ward, Cunningham led the Mustangs to the Class L state title in '07 and a Class L state championship appearance in 2014. He becomes the 5th girls soccer coach in the last 5 years for the Wildcats. Seymour has got to be happy. Cunningham still plans to teach at Ward and coach the Mustangs boys lax team. Today's hometown sports comes from the Weston Soccer Club. They donated soccer equipment to about 300 underprivileged children in Brazil. Shirts, uniforms, soccer balls were all donated, as well as cleats to make sure the players didn't have to play the beautiful game barefoot anymore. Hats off to the soccer club community in Weston for their continued global goodwill. As always, please send us your hometown sports videos or photos to News12CT at news12.com, or you could post to Twitter or Instagram using hashtag News12CTSports. That guy right there, that's our guy. Fairfield University's Jack Gethings had his first 2-hit game for the Burlington Royals last night. The MAC Conference Player of the Year and the Stags' all-time hits leader started at second base for the Royals' rookie advanced affiliate, living his dream down in North Carolina, coming off of one of the best seasons in Fairfield U history. UConn has a new softball coach, and it's former Fairfield assistant Laura Valentino. An assistant at Duke the last 2 years, Valentino helped the Stags win 2 regular season MAC championships. As an assistant, she coached, she did a little bit of everything with the Stags, and did some recruiting as well. Finally tonight, raised in Trumbull, Connecticut, he went to Barlow, now he paints. Corners, that is. A dozen strikeouts for Charlie Morton last night. The 2-time All-Star and World Series champ was just not fair. If only he was helping the New York Mets this year. Nick, is he the reason they refer to the curve as Uncle Charlie?
He is not, but he is wicked nonetheless. Justin, thank you. The Mets could use him. A look right now at our community camera in Weston. Hope you're enjoying it. You're watching News 12 Connecticut. Top story coming up right after this.